I have to admit something. I have listened to Pat Martino for decades, and it was only recently that I realized he was hiding something in plain sight. Listen. That phrase right there, or rather the skeleton of that phrase, shows up again and again throughout Pat's entire recorded output. He disguises it so brilliantly that most listeners never notice. Today, I want to pull back the curtain on one of the most powerful learning strategies in jazz improvisation, studying a master's pet licks and learning how to make them your own. I'm Richie Zellen, and in this lesson we are going to dig into Pat Martino's solo over Along Came Betty, an up-tempo Benny Golson standard, and we are going to uncover two of his signature building block phrases. Then I am going to show you how to adapt both of them to your own vocabulary. Now, the source material for this lesson comes from a project called Dig That Lick, a collaboration between musicologists and computer scientists who built public databases and interactive web tools that let you search thousands of transcribed jazz solos for recurring melodic phrases and see exactly who played them and when. I actually did a previous video on this project, Bebop's Most Played Lick, where we tracked a single phrase across generations of jazz masters. Today we go deeper, because what the Dig That Lick data reveals about Pat Martino is, well, stick with me because it is genuinely fascinating. But before we go any further, let me play you this lick one more time, and this time I want to show you exactly what it is made of. You can think of this phrase in three components: the suffix, the nucleus, and the prefix. The nucleus is the essential phrase, the irreducible core. If you preserve the nucleus, the listener's ear connects the phrase back to the original even when everything else has changed. The suffix is what comes after the nucleus. The prefix is what leads into it. Change either one and you have a variation. Change both and you have something that sounds completely new. But it is built on exactly the same foundation. This is the key to understanding everything that follows. Keep that framework in mind. All great jazz musicians have their favorite phrases, what we might call pet licks. These are not crutches. They are building blocks, the bricks from which they construct entire walls of melody. The reason most listeners do not notice them is precisely because great players do not repeat them mechanically. They adapt them, varying the prefix, the suffix, the rhythm, the harmonic context. The nucleus stays the same. Everything around it shifts. And because the changes are so fluent, the phrase sounds fresh each time. And Pat was a master of this, which I am sure he learned by listening to the best. The same lick was played by Charlie Parker on KC Blues. But Charlie Parker wasn't the only one. There are hundreds more, but due to time constraints, I'm going to play you just 6 of my favorites. And I want you to take special notice in the notation how the lick appears in different harmonic and rhythmic contexts, yet in isolation, it sounds almost identical each time. This is from Dizzy Gillespie on Bebop. This is from Herbie Hancock on Dolores. This is from Joe Henderson on Johnny Comes Lately. This is from John Coltrane on So What. This is from Miles Davis on 81. This is from Wayne Shorter on ESP. And we could go on, but I am sure you get the picture. This is a staple bebop phrase. A piece of the language's common vocabulary. Like all these greats, what makes Pat's use of it distinctive is how systematically he deploys it. Now let us look at how Pat uses this in his solo over Along Came Betty off his album titled Consciousness. I am going to show you 6 instances where this lick appears. I want you to listen to Pat playing the isolated nucleus and immediately after how he plays it in the context of the given phrase. You will see the nucleus marked in the notation. And by the way, the original recording has been slowed down by 25% to make it easier to hear its components. Here it goes. This is the original phrase I played when we analyzed it at the beginning, and it is on measure 9 of the solo. By now, it should be fairly easy to identify the nucleus. Just listen for its initial 2-note enclosure followed by an ascending scale passage. This one is on measure 20, and now the nucleus is on the second half of the measure. So no suffix, just the prefix here. Now I should probably disclose the fact that this entire Pat Martino solo was transcribed by the Dig That Lick project using their proprietary computer software. And the program obviously does not understand swing eighth notes and jazz articulations in general. As a result, it occasionally notates a few very difficult to read rhythms such as this one. I sure can't read it. But if you go back and listen to what Pat played, you'll hear that it is mainly a 16th note line. Nonetheless, although the notes and contour of all the licks are present, due to the strange notation, it might not always be evident. Just thought I should make you aware of this caveat. This is measure 22, and again we have the nucleus in the middle of a prefix and suffix. This is measure 43, and again we have the nucleus surrounded by a prefix and suffix. This is measure 45, and it is identical to the first instance. Right below it for comparison is the first instance on measure 9. And this goes to show that even the best of the best will sometimes repeat their vocabulary note per note. This 6th instance is on measure 60 and consists of a short quarter note prefix followed by the nucleus and a suffix. 6 instances, 1 solo, and if you were not looking for the nucleus, you would have heard 6 completely different phrases. That is the genius of it. Now, before we move to the second lick, let me show you how I incorporate this lick for use over a 2-5-1 in major. You can hear how the nucleus survives the harmonic translation. That is the whole point. The lick belongs to you now, not whatever chord changes it was born on. But here's what I find even more interesting about Pat's approach. We are still not done. There is a second lick. And before we get to it, a quick word. We are barely scratching the surface here. If you want the complete study package for this lesson, it is available at jazzguitar.richiezellen.com/premium for a nominal contribution to support this channel. Here's what is included. A PDF of Pat Martino's entire solo to Along Came Betty with every single instance of both licks clearly marked in the notation. Also included 16 2-5-1s in major and minor with variations of both the ascending and descending lick in standard notation and tab. Also included are notation excerpts of 10 jazz masters incorporating this very lick in their own recorded solos. Also MP3s of the 16251 variations, as well as Pat playing the 6 instances of Lick 1 so you can hear them clearly. And for those of you who practice with play-along tools, band-in-a-box files for the 251s, plus MIDI files you can import directly into Guitar Pro, MuseScore, or your favorite notation app. Again, jazzguitar.richiezelland.com/premium. And now stick with me because the second lick is, if anything, even more versatile than the first. While the first lick ascends, climbing upward through the harmony, this one descends, and where the ascending lick has a kind of forward momentum, this one has weight, gravity. It lands differently on the ear. This is the first instance of the lick on measure 10. Same 3-part structure, suffix, nucleus, prefix. There are a total of 5 instances of this lick in the Along Came Betty solo. I'm not going to take up more time showing you each instance, but if you want to study them, they are clearly marked in Pat's entire solo included in this lesson's download. So, to proceed, let me show you how I incorporate the second lick for use over a 2-5-1 in major. Next, I'm going to take both licks, the ascending and the descending, and convert them from major to minor 2-5-1s. And this is where the vocabulary really begins to open up. Listen to the initial ascending lick converted to minor. Now listen to the descending lick converted to minor. Four phrases, 2 licks, each one now in both major and minor. That is how your vocabulary starts compounding. So here's what I suggest. Start with the nucleus. Learn it in a handful of keys. Then let the suffixes and prefixes evolve naturally as you hear them in context. You will be surprised how quickly a single nucleus becomes an entire vocabulary, one that sounds like yours, not necessarily Pat's. For those of you still with me, thank you for watching. I hope something in this lesson clicked for you today. If so, please leave me a comment and let me know. I genuinely read all of them. And if you found this useful, a like goes a long way. Also, if this is your first time here and you are not subscribed yet, now is a great moment to do that. I'm Richie Zelland and I will see you in the next one. Until then, you know the drill. Practice, 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 rinse and repeat. May peace be with you. Shalom.